Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RENE Boxing, a platform where we simply discuss, critique, and analyze. Simply talk about sport of boxing in a level-headed, mature, coherent fashion. Definitely subscribers since day one, recent subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the premieres of my videos such as this, tuning into the flash lives, definitely. Playback family, salute. Thank you so much for commenting in the comment sections of the videos, supporting, via your likes, via your subs, via hitting the notification bell, via commenting, via just collaborating all around, via following me on Instagram, Twitter, definitely, and via Cash App. You can also, support in that manner. $ RENE Boxing, Cash App, $ RENE Boxing. I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to get right to this, ladies and gentlemen, definitely, man. Disclaimer, I guess we can say, I gotta say it from the get-go. And those who tune in later on in this video, in the premiere, you can go back and hear the disclaimer, definitely, It's of importance. I consider it quite important, Just so that things don't get misinterpreted when it comes to, my platform and my content and my perspective when it comes to fighters in general in the sport of boxing, First and foremost, I got to say this, man, concerning what I want to talk about. It's quite an interesting information, very interesting article that caught my attention. This is on Boxing News. The website in the description, link in the description of the source, You can check it out in your time, and you can go through it, I just want to give kind of a gist through this article, kind of read through it, and talk about this, man, definitely. And the disclaimer is this, man, that you already know, I don't pledge allegiance to any of these fighters. I'm fans of certain fighters, definitely, but I don't go to the extremities. I don't go to the extremes with these fighters, because sometimes it's just shifty when it comes to that, sometimes fighters make moves all of a sudden, and they just go haywire, and there's just a lot of aspects and a lot of variables when it comes to fighters. I just like to see the best competition versus the best competition. I like to see elite fighters go at it against each other. I like to see fighters grow. I like to see fighters progress and just fight for legacy. And that's generally what I go for, as a fan of the sport of boxing. And of course, I'm a fan of certain fighters out there, but I don't go to the extremes. So, I'm down the line, down the middle. That's what I do here, definitely. And I want to talk about this. So, I was going through Twitter or whatever, right? I guess they call it boxing Twitter nowadays, whatever. But, I was going through Twitter, and I saw a post that caught my attention. I clicked on the link, and this is the source that we're going to check out right now. And I want to show you this, man. When it comes to judging, okay? I'm no freaking judge. I'm just a fan of the sport. I'm no judge. I have no authority to be a judge, or not even close to. But I like to see this article, and it caught my attention. And this is where, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. We got to have an open ear and an open mind when it comes to speculating the sport of boxing, just like any other sport. You got to have an open ear, because a lot of people, it's just crazy out there. When it comes to social media and platforms out there on the sport of boxing, It gets to the point, and I've said this time and time again when it comes to other, aspects, it gets to the point of you being racist if you say something. I don't get to that nonsense. I don't get to those crazy speculations. But it's interesting to note this, that a lot of people, here we go. This is a claim they have had, and this article backs it up to the T. And this article comes from valid sources, I guess we can say reputable sources in the sport of boxing, and a lot of speculation out there has been precisely about this, about judging favoring Canelo, and not just Canelo, other fighters also, historically speaking as well. Let's just not just say, oh, it's just Canelo, right? Because he's a superstar, because he's of, light skin complexion, this and that, right? I get it, and that's just another rabbit hole I can go down, but I'm not even going to get into that. I'm just going to talk about the judging. Historically it's been shown, and in modern day also it's shown, So let's check this out, man. Like I said, link in the description. You can check it out in your free time, Definitely. This is called, Judging Canelo, Boxing News, online.net. You can check it out in your free time, but I want to get right to this, okay? I just kind of, blew up the screen so you can just see exactly what we're going to get to, okay? So we see here, okay? It says here, Jack Hirsch investigated whether Canelo Alvarez really gets preferential treatment from boxing judges, an accusation regularly leveled at the mighty Mexican, what I was just saying a moment ago, right? So, now here we go. You can make an argument that all the official verdicts in Canelo's fights have been fair, just as you can make a decent argument that at least a couple should have gone against him. But anyway you look at it, it is undeniable that he has been given the benefit of the doubt from the judges in several big fights. Interesting, huh? So Then we just scroll down, and we're just going to get right to the fights, okay? We're just going to get right to the fights. Canelo, unanimous decision against Austin Trout years ago, right? And, you know, Canelo fought Trout after the Miguel Cody fight, right? At the final bell, it wasn't clear who was going to get the decision in this fight, even though a 7th round knockdown by Canelo had the potential to be the difference. So CompuBox statistics favored Trout. You know, Dan Rafael favored Canelo 114-113. Showtime Al Bernstein, had them level 114-114. Scores of 114-113, 115-112 to Canelo, as Judge Ray Denseco had it, were acceptable. Oren, how you pronounce that name, 116-111 was a slight stretch. But the 118-109 scorecard of Stanley, however you pronounce that, was just plain bad. You see there? Being that the fight was in Texas, there was a large Mexican presence on hand. It is possible that the judges' scores could have been influenced by the crowd cheering far more for Alvarez when he landed punches. Okay, so go to the next one real quick, guys. There were some who did not give Canelo a round. Y'all know the story here, Floyd, Mayweather, and Canelo, such as the Associated Press, who scored 120-108. ESPN had it 119-109. The score of judges Dave Metcalf, 117-111, Dave Moretti, 116-112 were barely acceptable. But anything closer than that for Canelo was not. Okay? Which makes Judge C.J. Ross 114-114 scorecard a travesty. Everybody knows that story, right? One of the worst cards in history, in fact, but thankfully not one that affected the ultimate outcome. Wow. So we see here a couple examples, right? So let's go down here. You go down here to the Lada and Canelo fight. A poll of 89 media members after the fight, right, revealed 34-30-25 edge in Canelo's favor. To simplify the maths, 55 out of 89 did not think Canelo won that fight, ladies and gentlemen. You couldn't argue with the 115-113 scores of judges Jerry Roth for Lada and Dave Moretti for Canelo, but you certainly could with Levi Martinez at 117-111. It would be difficult to find anyone who agreed with that assessment. So you see, it seems like you got these judges, these fishy judges, in several of the fights, right? Canelo versus Miguel Cody, you go here. Alvarez was simply too strong on balance. Okay, however, the scorecards of judges Dave Moretti, 119-109, Burt Clements, 118-110, and John McKay, 117-111 were a little too decisive for most people's liking. Boxing News had Canelo up 115-113 after a close encounter. Go to the next, Canelo versus Amir Khan. Everybody knows the story, knocked him out. Okay, yeah. Despite appearing to do enough to be ahead, concerning Khan, was actually behind on 2 of the scorecards, 49-46, 48-47. At the time of the sudden ending, the other card had Khan up by 48-47. Amir should have been given a little more credit on the cards. That's the fact of the matter here, ladies and gentlemen, that this article is stating. Had he been boxing anyone but Canelo, he might well have been ahead on the cards. So let's go next, right? So we got here Canelo split draw. Okay, this is, I mean, as it is, we got a lot of controversy in the previous rulings, right? From the judges, from certain judges in these fights, right? Now, this is where just the controversy goes also, even it just magnifies amongst Triple G fans and Canelo fans, right? The vast consensus was that it ranged anywhere from a 114-114 fight to 116-112 in favor of Golovkin. You could hardly find anyone who felt that Canelo actually deserved the decision in the first fight. Okay, so one who did was Judge, Adelaide Bird. Yeah, you guessed it, right? Who not only scored for Canelo, but did so by a 118-110 margin. Wow. She only gave Golovkin 2 rounds. Rarely will you find a scorecard that was as condemned as Bird's. You know, and it goes on. It concludes with this. Canelo was fortunate, to say the least, okay? And then you got Canelo and Golovkin too, ladies and gentlemen, which I personally think he won quite clearly. I think Canelo won clearly in this fight, ladies and gentlemen. The 115-113 scorecards of judges Moretti and Steve Weisfeld in favor of Alvarez were reasonable. However, here we go, but a little less so than Glenn Feldman's 114-114. On this night, Alvarez earned the decision, and in truth, it was such a close contest. A draw or a close win, either way was fair. I think he won, but, you know, there you go. Okay, so here we go. Canelo versus Daniel Jacobs, right? The universal opinion was that Canelo clearly won a close fight. No controversy here as Canelo held serve in getting the victory. But if you go back a little bit here, it says 3 judges who scored for Canelo over Golovkin in the rematch were back working this fight, scoring it 116-112 and 115-113. So, I mean, that was quite clear, okay? So, you know, you got Canelo versus Kovalev, right? So you got Kovalev boxed smartly and effectively, looking no worse than ever. Okay, entering the 11th round and was on one scorecard 95-95, but was trailing on the other two 96-94. The two scores favoring Canelo were not outrageous, but yet again, the Mexican was getting the benefit of the doubt, ladies and gentlemen. This is where a lot of controversy comes when it comes to Canelo, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of fans out there, you know, that just love the sport or whatever, that criticize Canelo, okay? The Mexican was getting the benefit of the doubt in close rounds while his opponent was not. That's where, you know what I'm saying? When it's a gray area, it seems like the judges give Canelo the benefit of the doubt. We're going to see a little bit of that in the conclusion. You'll see in a moment. Watch. Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. Okay, so many did agree with the scores of, you know, judges. Tim, okay, 77-75, 78-74 of the other judges, who all had Alvarez in front when Saunders was forced out on the stool at the end of the 8th round. However, many also felt that Saunders' smooth boxing should have garnered him more credit. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, so now, here we go. Let's look at this conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Watch this. So as a conclusion, watch. I want you to see this, man. This is like the conclusion. Interesting comment said here. So he says here, Canelo is the main attraction in his fight, says Majeski. The attractions, are usually always given the benefit of the doubt in very close rounds. In a sense, Canelo's opponents are losing the fight before the first bell and are forced to play catch up. And this is what a lot of people out there say. You know, I'm just reading the article. Don't be tripping on me, you know what I'm saying? You know, all the men fans out there, whatever, I don't care, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, don't be tripping on me. Don't kill the messenger. Don't hate the messenger, you know what I'm saying? So, you hear that a lot amongst the boxing community, and it seems like it's true to a certain degree, ladies and gentlemen. Continue. There is a term in baseball that the tie goes to the runner. In even rounds, the tie goes to the attraction, which is Canelo. This is nothing new, right or wrong. Megastars have always been given the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so this is where you go from historically, we're going to see in a moment. Paul Malignaggi, love him, hate him, or whatever you want with him. Okay, so it says here, knows from experience, having been in fights where he was on the short end of scores, he felt were grossly unfair, says Malignaggi. Here we go. Without a doubt, Canelo has been the beneficiary of some debatable decisions. For his opponents, it's frustrating. It puts a chip on your shoulder knowing you are in a fight where you don't have a chance to get the decision. It's all about boxing politics. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Who brings the most money to the table? But it's accepted to a point because although we all chase greatness, Canelo's opponents know they can get paid. Payday. You want payday. I know that. More for boxing him than anyone else. You continue down, and this is the historical aspect, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. If history is an indication, the answer is yes. Answering the question of, will the scoring controversies catch up to Canelo? Whoa. Historically, yes. Muhammad Ali and Oscar De La Hoya were prime examples. In the second phase of Ali's career, there was controversy when he was awarded decisions over Jimmy Young, Ken Norton, third fight, and Ernie Shavers, to a lesser degree. I'm no historian when it comes to sport of boxing, man, so I'm just going to read what it says. It brought up the old axiom, as unfair as it was, that you had to beat the champion decisively to take his crown. That's where I agree, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is, man. These fighters who are coming up right now who want to fight Canelo, and you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to beat him convincingly. You got to beat him super convincingly. You know what I'm saying? And if you claim to be the best out there and say that you can beat Canelo and that this is the best camp I ever had and this and that and I'm going to beat him, well, you got to convince the judges and you got to convince the whole freaking world. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people debate and say out there that, you know what, the only way you can beat Canelo is by knocking him out. There may be some truth to that, but if it's a schooling like what Mayweather did to Canelo, which I think none of these fighters can really do out there right now, I'm just speaking from my opinion, okay? I think they can beat Canelo. If someone out there does that kind of performance as Mayweather did against Canelo. I'm not saying they have to fight like Mayweather. I'm not saying they have to have that freaking Philly shell. I'm not saying they have to be like Mayweather, but they got to beat Canelo like Mayweather and make it super clear. You know, and that's where I agree, man. The champ has to, you know, you have to beat the champion decisively, whoever the champs are nowadays. You know what I'm saying? But in this case, Canelo, right? We're talking about. So, but despite Ali's popularity, the discontent of him being awarded debatable verdicts did not sit well with the public. It came to a head when Ali was on the short end of a split decision loss to Leon Spinks that resulted in him losing the World Heavyweight Championship. At that point, boxing did not need Ali being awarded another debatable decision. Now we'll go to De La Hoya. Here we go. Similar with De La Hoya, who was a bigger attraction in his prime than Canelo is currently. Many thought that Oscar was beaten by Pernell Whitaker. I'm sure you guys remember that fight. You know what I'm saying? Yet he was awarded a unanimous decision by wide scores and later given a split decision over Ike Quarty that many disputed. Eventually, De La Hoya's run of good fortune ended against Felix Trinidad. You guys, I'm sure you remember that one too. In a fight where few agreed with the majority decision that went against him. I'm saying all this, and I'm showing you this because it caught my attention. You know what I'm saying? It definitely caught my attention, and, you know, in future fights, I just see it like this, ladies and gentlemen, for Canelo. These fighters who are, you know, stepping up to the plate to fight him, you got to beat him convincingly. You really do. You know what I'm saying? And according to the article, when it's like a gray area, you know, when it's a close round, when I guess they're called swing rounds or whatever they call them, it looks like, you know, the champ, Canelo, will be given the benefit of the doubt, you know, by the judges, according to what we read in the article. You know what I'm saying? So what do you guys think about this, man? And like I said, a lot of people, we got to make this clear. A lot of people, you know, they see it like that. You know, oh, Canelo already has 3 rounds in the bag. Or Canelo has the judge's bot, or what have you. You know what I'm saying? He has 3 rounds in the bag. He's winning already. He's already up on the scorecards. According to the article, that has, you know, it's credible to say that. You know what I'm saying? But my take on it is this, man, that you got to beat Canelo really convincingly in order to get the judges, you know, convinced. And you got to be you got to, you know, outbox Canelo or, you know, each round or you know, beat him very convincingly in order to get a win over Canelo. So, I don't know if I would say that the judges are bought and things of that nature, but hey, there's corruption in the sport. So what do you guys think about this? I just wanted to share the article. I just wanted to read it to you. And like I said, I got to do this disclaimer again, like I did at the beginning of the video. If those who are, you know, people are coming in, you know, later on or what have you. I'm no Canelo Man fan. I mean, I definitely, though, I got to say this, man. I've been saying it. Those who follow me know I've been saying this. That as of late, Canelo he really earned my respect, man. A lot more of my respect. Because he's doing what a lot of these fighters aren't doing out there, as far as being active. And I dig that a lot, you know what I'm saying, in fighters. You know, being active, you know, and I think that, you know, his fight against Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, I like those performances, man. And I like how he's getting those belts from these guys. And he got undisputed at 168. I can't really complain too much about that. Yeah, of course, the Yildirim thing, y'all know my stance on that, you know. But as of late, man, I definitely respect what he's doing. And I'm not tripping at all over this whole, you know, Bivol fight, man. 175 championship status, that's awesome. Bivol's in his prime. We cannot say anything against that, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've said before, people were whining, complaining, and pouting when he was fighting Kovalev, which I think Kovalev was out of his prime. You know what I'm saying? He beat Kovalev, but at that time, you know, people were saying, why don't he fight Bivol? Why don't he fight Beterbiev? Those guys are in their you know, their primes and their, you know, primes, champs in their prime at 175. Well, now he's fighting Bivol, so, you know, I think we should all be satisfied on it. Probably not. I know you can't satisfy everybody. You know what I'm saying? I know some people out there, you know, they would rather see Canelo fight Charlo, Benavidez, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But I think he will eventually. I think he will eventually soon. You know what I'm saying? He's just taking them out one by one. But we'll see what happens, man. You know, we'll see what happens. But what do you guys think about this article, man? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say every time when it comes to Canelo talk, man, that's part of the controversy that comes to, you know, that follows his name. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Rene Boxing, a platform where we simply discuss, critique, and analyze, and simply talk about sport boxing, you know what I'm saying, in a level-headed, mature, coherent fashion. Definitely, I appreciate everyone. Thank you for supporting via your likes, supporting via subbing, supporting via following me on Instagram and Twitter, you know what I'm saying, supporting via sharing, and supporting via Cash App if you feel like supporting in that manner. Also, $, Rene Boxing. Thank you guys so much, man. Peace out.